Alright, hello everyone, it's Happy, and I don't know how I missed this, but apparently there is a modern World of Tanks. And it's coming onto console, however it's not coming onto PC. As you can see, it's called World of Tanks Modern Armor, and you pretty much have Cold War tanks up to maybe even modern tanks. Maybe they're going to add the T-14 Armata, I don't know, but they have a lot of Cold War era tanks, especially late Cold War, and this would be something really cool in World of Tanks Blitz. Now, in my opinion, they should make a tier called Tier X, or Tier XX to make it like Tier 20, and then put it above Tier 10, so it only fights against that era tanks. Now, we obviously already have Cold War tanks in the game, such as the M48, the M60, the T55, the T54, and the T62, etc. However, these are small exceptions, and I think putting these tanks into the game would be quite nice. Making a whole new game for iOS and Android devices would be a big pain in the bum that would really split the community, so instead adding a Tier X into the game would be something much better, or at least a fun mode where we can at least try out the ATGMs like before or something like that. I don't want to see like really late Cold War tanks because of the quite complex armor they have, especially with like ERA. I don't know how it's called. I'm not the biggest tank expert, but everything is a lot more complex by the late Cold War. So something like the base T-72 or the base T-64 would be quite nice with the base M1 Abrams or something like that. Again, this is just a few ideas, but we'll see how it goes. Because if World of Tanks PC adopts this, then I think World of Tanks Blitz can adopt this as well. I mean, we already have Cold War tanks and they're playing just fine, so I don't see why this would be a big problem. On the other tanks, we obviously have the Leopard 2, etc. And by the way, the Leopard 1 is also technically a Cold War era tank, so it's not a big problem in the game, and actually balancing them out would be quite easy. In terms of light tanks for this tier, you can obviously add like BMPs or infantry fighting vehicles to make them, you know, more or less quote-unquote light tanks, like the Bradley, the BMPs, the BTRs, blah. And there's a wide variety of premium tanks they could add. And I think War Thunder took the correct approach in this regard. And apparently in this game, they actually have helicopters. So you can actually have helicopters instead of artillery. They pretty much jump up and shoot tanks. I don't know how well this is implemented into the game, but again, this is a really cool feature. However, it may add a lot of randomness to the game. At least a fun mode with Cold War era tanks would be something really nice, and a lot of people would appreciate, because at least for me, I enjoy the Cold War era a lot more, at least in terms of history and the military, compared to World War II, because the Cold War was a big leap in terms of the military in comparison to World War II, because of the additional armor, the smoothbore guns, blah, the ATGMs, the amount of different ammunition you get. Here you have AP, FSD, blah, and all the good stuff. So again, I think this is something Wargaming can take advantage of as one of the biggest tank games in the industry. And since Armored Warfare are coming out to kind of distinguish themselves from Armored Warfare, they can pretty much add Cold War vehicles. Again, this is just my opinion, and I would really want to see what you guys say, so tell me in the comment section if you agree, if you disagree, and maybe you can add some balancing changes to the game in your mind and in the comment section, and maybe Wargaming will see this video and they can actually think about it. But I already think that Wargaming have thought about this, and I don't necessarily think that Blitz will have something like this, because Blitz already has a ton of issues. But maybe in 1 or 2 years, after all the HD graphics and maps are added, they might think about this to actually revive the game again. But with that, Happy is out, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.